In this lesson, we're going to use Secrets Manager with an RDS database and a Lambda function to retrieve the secrets. First thing to do is to use RDS to create our database. So let's go to Databases. We're going to create a database. We'll use the standard create, choose MySQL, and then we're going to scroll down and choose the free tier option. Then we're going to give it a name. I'm going to call this sample-db. For the username, I'll leave that as admin, and I'm going to set a password. And my password is simply going to be password. So not very secure, but it's just a quick test. Then we're going to leave the DB instance class as it is. I don't need so much storage, so I'll knock that off down to 20. And then for the remainder, we can leave everything as the defaults. Scroll to the bottom and then create the database. That will take a few minutes now to create, and once it is ready and active, we'll then be able to create our secret in Secrets Manager. My database is now available, so what I'm going to do is head over to Secrets Manager and we're going to store a new secret. There's a few different types. We can see Amazon RDS is the default. You've got Document DB, you've got Redshift, and then other databases or other type of secret. So we have an RDS database, so I'll leave this option selected. And we can see down here that we actually have our database showing up. So we can select our database. I'm going to put in the username and password associated with this database. So mine is admin and password. For encryption key, you can add a new key, or you can just simply use the AWS Managed key for Secrets Manager. I'm going to leave the default here, click on Next. Then we're going to give a name for our secret. Mine is going to be called prod/ and then sample-db with a dash in the middle, so sample-db. You can optionally give it a description if you want to. Now you can see at the bottom here, you can also replicate your secrets to other regions because this is a regional service. I don't need to do that for this one, so let's click on Next. On this page, you can enable automatic rotation, and of course there is an automatic rotation function for RDS. Otherwise, you can actually create a Lambda function to do it for you. I'm going to disable automatic rotation, click on Next, and I'm happy with all of the options here. At the bottom, we have some sample code. So you could use this code either in Java or one of these other languages for an application to retrieve the secret. As you can see here, the string secret name is prod/sample-db, and then it specifies the region. Now, I'm not going to use that code. We already have some code. I'm going to click on Store and just refresh. And now we have our secret. If I click on the secret, you can reveal or retrieve the secret value, and then you can actually see all of these details. And you can easily come in and edit these as well. Of course, you could do this via the API or the CLI, but if you needed to change any of this information, including the host endpoint, the username and the password and so on, then you can always do that in here. In the course download, in the Secrets Manager folder, you'll find this .js file. And this is the code we're going to use. Now note that the secret name is specified. So I called mine prod/sample-db. You need to make sure that you update yours if you recorded a different secret value. Now what this secret does, we don't actually really have a full application for talking to the database. So I'm just going to show you how you can use Lambda to retrieve the secret from Secrets Manager and then output the secret to CloudWatch logs. So we can copy all of this code, and in Lambda, I'm going to create a function. The function is going to be called secrets test, and I'm going to choose Node.js 16. I'm going to leave the default execution role and create the function. The default execution role won't have all the permissions we need because it won't have permissions to Secrets Manager. So we're going to add those in a moment. My function's been created, and on the code page, I'm going to delete all of the existing code, paste in my code, and then click on deploy. Next, I'm going to go to configuration, permissions, and then click on the role name here. In the role, we can see we already have a permissions policy, and that provides the required permissions to create the log stream and put the log events into CloudWatch logs. But we also need permissions to Secrets Manager. So I'm just going to find a policy that allows access to Secrets Manager. Here's one that provides read-write, so lots of Secrets Manager permissions here. Of course, you could create a custom policy and lock it down further. I'm going to add these permissions, and then we can come back to our Lambda function. Let's go to test, create a new test event called T1, and all I'm simply going to do is click on test, and it's just going to run the standard template here for Hello World. Now that will execute our function. And we can see the body here, we've got a status code 200, and then the body is successfully retrieved secret. So let's go to monitor and then view CloudWatch logs. A log group and a stream has been created. So let's pop into that stream, expand this information, and here we can see that the secret was retrieved from Secrets Manager and it's been output into CloudWatch logs. So that's it. That's my test complete. Now don't forget to come back and delete your database, and you can also go back into Secrets Manager and delete your secret as well.